everybody, please smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps the show grow. We're going to need your help to do that. I want to get this show out there to everybody, so help us do that. You want to get into things already? I guess we should start talking some politics here. We're going to start talking about what everybody else is talking about, and that is this second attempt at Donald Trump by an assassin. Now, this time around, Ross, as we all know, there was a gentleman in what seems to be like a sniper's nest outside or around Trump's golf course in West Palm, and Secret Service fortunately spotted him. They didn't really do a sweep, but they spotted him. They ended up shooting at him. I think they shot him once, but he got away, and they ended up catching him on the side of the road somewhere. What the hell's going on here?
It's sad, Gene, because I don't even know what to believe anymore. You know what I mean? If the story that we've been told so far is true, then it's almost unbelievable. Like, I know we're going to talk about, like, how did he get there? And, you know, why weren't they watching this guy before? He was on the FBI's radar.
Right.
But a Secret Service agent saw the muzzle of a rifle sticking through a bush and a fence and took a shot at the guy. And some woman took a picture of the guy's car, and they were able to track it down. Like,
yes, and thank God
I just feel bad that
more investigating than any guy did.
Yeah, and I guess where I was going with this, Gene, is I don't even know what to believe anymore. I have lost all faith in the media and the government. I am open to any conspiracy theories on any of this stuff right now, to be honest.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not ready to put the tinfoil hat on just yet. Oh my goodness. Christy got us our first super chat donating to the show. Wow, thank you so much for getting us started with that. That is really freaking cool. We popped the super chat cherry, Ross.
All right, you can put that towards your Dodge Challenger or Charger.
Yeah, and we're just gonna put this up because again, she's beard shaming me, but whatever. I'll take it if you're paying me and you're gonna beard shame me. I'm not below taking that money.
Hello, I like money.
Let's get into, I guess, the latest that we know about here. I found the clip from Fox News featuring former Navy SEAL and security expert Jonathan Gilliam discussing what he knows and what he can extrapolate and what he can glean from his own professional knowledge base about what happened with this assassination attempt part 2. So let's go to this right now.
Entire course is blocked by greenery if you're on a public road. So how did this guy know that he would have a line of sight to the president?
Because I believe he did surveillance. I believe he had somebody telling him or some way to find out what Trump's movement was. When you look at this map right here that you were just talking about, it is surrounded by roads that go right around it. And you step off the road onto the sidewalk and straight into the trees, and there's a fence right there. He picked a location, had time to set up, tie up, and fix ballistic plates to the fence along with a supply bag, a GoPro, and set himself up for the shot. That takes, I mean, if he just ran up there and did it, it would take at least 5 minutes to do that. But he also staged his vehicle so he could get away. So all that occurred in the perimeter in a location where Trump was going to be. And just like in Pennsylvania, it was not discovered. The perimeter was not secured. And this individual was able to go simply just get out of his car and walk over there. Now, whether
that's mind-boggling, isn't it? We've been talking about this first attempt and how Secret Service didn't properly establish the perimeter, didn't extend it out far enough, didn't have snipers facing the right direction. It seems like the same mistakes happened here, and they somehow got bailed out because of somebody being observant. It's crazy.
Yeah. And he said, like, he believes it was probably that he was probably surveilling the area. Was he? Was it surveillance or intelligence, right? That was an off the record, off the schedule golf outing. So what was he surveilling? Was he there every day for the last 6 months working out a pattern analysis on when Trump golfs and at what time he would be at each hole and where the line of sights lined up? Was that what he was doing? And he was undetected for that long doing surveillance? Or was he tipped off? And if he was tipped off, by who?
I got one better. Who else may have been helping him? Is this sound like a one-man task to you to do all this surveillance, to establish locations like this and, set up getaway routes and all this stuff? Is there a possibility that there's somebody else involved in this and we haven't found out yet? That's what I'm scared about.
Yeah. And is there a possibility that there wasn't only the shots fired by the Secret Service, that he actually got off another shot, right? There's no telling what the truth is. This is why Governor DeSantis said that Florida will run a parallel investigation to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah,
right?
and
no one
honestly,
trusts the federal agencies. No one.
It is a crisis of confidence.
Is it the case, I guess, that the Secret Service has just gotten too relaxed because nothing has happened for so long? Or, I hate saying this, but could it be that there is something else afoot here? I don't want to put the tinfoil hat on. I really, really don't. But I can certainly envision a scenario that, while I firmly believe that you don't go to malice what you can explain with incompetence, but man, this is beyond incompetence. This is recklessness and almost willfulness.
Yeah, and I mean the Secret Service, Gene, that I'm not going to say they're all bad, right? They're the last line of defense. By the time these plots manifest themselves into action, the Secret Service is the last line of defense. But where the hell is the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security? Where are these guys? I'll tell you where they are. They're rounding up grandmothers from fucking January 6th. They're going to school board meetings. They're investigating Trump for the last few years, right? Where's the... Did they look at Epstein, Clinton, Biden? They let all those guys go. They're investigating Republicans. They're not looking out for these threats. Everybody's on their fucking radar, but they never stop a damn thing. And now the Secret Service has to catch it while it's in the act.
And the other thing that they're doing is they're playing hide the ball with the investigation from the first attempt on Donald Trump's life, to the point where they've unified Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. They have bipartisan support now to start executing subpoenas upon the Secret Service and the Department of Homeland Security. Even Dick Blumenthal, one of the leftiest of the left in the Senate, is getting fed up with the Biden administration's Department of Homeland Security and Secret Service. That's something I never thought I'd see in my day.
No, and that makes me more suspicious because I'm just that way, I guess. He must have an ulterior motive, but he might be right on this one. Like, there's something wrong, right? He said, I'm going to paraphrase him, but the American people are going to be shocked when they find out the number of failures involved within the Secret Service on that first attempt.
I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures by the Secret Service in this assassination attempt on the former president. But I think they also ought to be appalled and astonished by the failure of the Department of Homeland Security to be more forthcoming, to be as candid and frank as it should be to them in terms of providing information. And we are going to absolutely insist on the truth and the whole truth in documents and testimony as members of the United States Senate, but also as citizens.
Oh, it's a calamity of errors that we've seen from previous shows that we've done. Let's let Jonathan Gilliam continue on here, see if we can glean anything else from this interview.
Whether or not he staged it earlier, we don't know. But the reality is he was able to set up a shooter's hide and prepare himself for the shot and let the president get within max effective range of that SKS, which is a Russian AK-47. And he could have, if that Secret Service had not had seen him and the president got a little bit closer, he could have taken the president out yesterday.
Yeah, and Jonathan, how do you feel about, what are your thoughts on the suspected gunman? He even spoke to the New York Times recently, and apparently he was on this personal mission to form an army of his own to defend Ukraine, and he even traveled to Kyiv to do just that. And the Washington Post is also reporting that he wrote a book last year, and he alluded to the fact that he supported Donald Trump in one of the elections, but regrets it. And there's even one line in this apparent book. He says, "You are free to assassinate Trump as well as me for that error in judgment."
Yeah, and that was a portion of his book that was directed right towards Iran, the Iranian government. Obviously, this guy is freaky Lou wackadoo, but how is it that someone who is trying to assemble his own army, who is looking to go overseas to fight for another nation, has all of these not resources necessary, but all of these aspirations? How is this person not on the government's radar when he's doing all that crazy shit?
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy shit, hey, Rick Robinson, how you doing, pal? We see you.
I hate to tell you, like, this guy was definitely on the Fed's radar, because not only was he involved with Iran and trying to recruit people out of Afghanistan to fight in Ukraine, his crazy ass was in Ukraine. And a nurse there reported him to federal authorities because she deemed him to be dangerous to himself or others, right? He was 100% on the Fed's radar. How does a guy who was making very little money, last time I heard his bank account was like $68 when he went over to Ukraine, how is that guy not being sponsored by someone? And how is the federal government not tracking that guy? They were 100%.
I don't see how they were not at this point. Obviously, there'll be an investigation. Truth will most likely be hidden, in my opinion anyway, and only give us drips and drabs of fact. But more importantly, a Russian-style gun, which is quite interesting as well to me. He went overseas to Ukraine. I would think he would have access to those sorts of weapons there. How did it get here?
With a scratched off serial number, right?
Right. I think there was reports that it was a legal gun purchase and that the serial number was scratched off, indicating that, of course, he had nefarious intent and malicious intent for using that weapon.
Gene, who has the most to lose if Donald Trump is elected, after all the things Donald Trump has been saying?
Oh, anyone associated with the left, but certainly Russia, Ukraine, and that whole situation.
Russia, Ukraine, and the deep state in this country that prop up these forever wars, right? So what's that saying where the simplest solution is probably the truest?
Known as Occam's razor.
Listen, man, the left is trying to kill Donald Trump. And by the left, I throw in the media, who might have leaked Trump's whereabouts. I throw in the deep state, the Democratic Party, and foreign actors.
Everyone here is a suspect.
All these people are trying to kill Donald Trump. They have something to fear from the man. These people that are the patsies, if you will, are not trying to do the right thing for their countries, right? They're idiots who have been brainwashed or MK Ultra'd to go and try to kill President Trump on behalf of something much larger. Prove me wrong, government. My government that I don't trust anymore. Prove me wrong.
Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. And you gave me a perfect lead-in to go back right to the White House and the press room with Karine Jean-Pierre. Peter Doocy from Fox News asked this question. You put me onto this clip, Ross. Let's look at it and let's talk about this reaction to Peter Doocy's question.
Since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again, and you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat. How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Damn!
That's the question, isn't it? Even throughout this second attempt, we see that the left has not toned down anything. In fact, you'll see later on, they're telling Donald Trump to tone things down. They're saying for him to be the leader, to be the bigger person in the room, to be a uniter. Yet the left is taking zero responsibility for their role in this violent rhetoric ratcheting up.
And wait till you see her response, Gene. She's stunned for like 5 seconds right now, right after you put it back on.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question, the question that you're asking. It is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it.
Hold on a goddamn minute. Asking questions is dangerous, but labeling and branding your political adversary as a threat to democracy, that's okay. That's all. That's cool. How dare you even ask me about my rhetoric? What the hell is that all about?
How dare you?
Yeah, Gene, it's insanity, right? You know my stance on this, by the way. I'm not a big believer in rhetoric leading directly to violence. Like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I
do believe that this guy is crazy or it was a plot of some type, right? Because there are people that hate Donald Trump. I don't believe that these people were just watching television and heard some people say some things and went out there and tried to kill Trump, right? I don't believe that. But it's people like her, and when you see the rest of this clip, it's people like them on the left. They keep saying that language and rhetoric leads directly to violence, yet they're the ones that keep using the language and rhetoric that, according to them, is leading to violence. And the violence is only going in one direction, against us, against Donald Trump. That is it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hypocrisy of this is almost overwhelming. The audacity of this is overwhelming. A couple months back, we did a video on the channel showing all the clips of all the violent rhetoric coming from prominent people on the left. We've had people, talk about that they want to see, Donald Trump get a lead injection, take him out, threat to democracy, all that extreme rhetoric out there. And while I tend to agree with you that rhetoric only takes you so far, it takes a real crazy person acting on it to really be responsible for something like this. This is the game that the left has set up. So I'm playing it. I'm going to be better at them in playing this than they are, because when they break their own rules and expose their hypocrisy, that's what I live for. That's what I wrote a book about. That's what I got awards observing. I want to see the depth of Karine Jean-Pierre's hypocrisy with the rest of this response.
Because American people are watching. And to say that from an administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was grateful that he was okay, from an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi, called out and said we need to lower the temperature after the Butler incident. And now for you to make that kind of comment in your question, because your question involved a comment and a statement. And, it is, that is also incredibly dangerous.
Go straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You sanctimonious buffoon. I'm sorry, but that answer to me is pure political maneuvering. We expect this from this White House. But man, does that get me kind of crazy here. By the way, Ross, another friend coming into the chat, Ron saying, hey, what's up, Ron? Good to see you, pal. Good to hear from you. Glad you can join us as well. The audacity of this White House. Yes, they checked on Donald Trump to see if he was okay. They didn't apologize. If you remember that interview with 60 Minutes after the first attempt, Joe Biden actually tried to say that when he said, put a bullseye on Donald Trump, that he meant, just focus on him with the media. It didn't mean, I didn't say crosshairs, he said. It was nuts.
Flashback!
You called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there's very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing.
I'm sorry, but they don't get a pass just because they're sanctimonious here.
Yeah, and Gene, there's no one rational out there that believes that this administration and their Department of Justice, led by the FBI and a fake special counsel, Jack Smith, is going to get to the bottom of any of these Trump assassinations, right? They're trying to put this man in jail for life over trumped up fake charges. And you believe that this administration is going to get to the bottom of these Trump assassinations and protect him with the Secret Service? They hold all the cards, right? Donald Trump's just a guy who gets Secret Service protection because he used to be the president, but he doesn't control the DOJ. He's not in the Department of Homeland Security. We have no push on any of this. We have barely a majority in the House of Representatives, which we suck in, right? We don't have the Senate. So what are we going to do? And does anyone believe that our Department of Justice is going to get to the bottom of any of this with this White House leading the way? No.
If you like that clip from our new show, Behind Enemy Lines, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other shows, and tune in live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.